I'm currently 43 hours into a water only fast, and this is day 2 of my period. And I just wanted to note some of my insights. I feel really peaceful and relaxed, and it's like I can't get lost in my thoughts. My thoughts no longer have the power to overtake me and for me to run off with them and believe them, because it's so important to remember that thoughts are just a thought. It's not real, actually. It's just an idea. It's just a thought, and we don't have to buy into them. So, yeah, doing this once a month at least, a fast, a period of rest, and just staying in bed and having the eyes closed and just letting the world that we know so well, this familiar, physical world, just disappear. And you realize the silliness of it, and, building up our bodies with doing weights and, putting that stress on our body to have these huge muscles is not conducive of health. And you really need to experience what feels like the opposite of that, such as fasting and not eating, to really sort of get a glimpse of how food affects us and how we're a slave to food from each moment to the next. So fasting like this is just hugely liberating. It just frees you from that constant nag of needing to eat, and you learn that you can be okay being hungry. It's not the end of the world having a hunger feeling. And also when you notice the hunger and just go into it, it disappears. It's really weird. Just sort of goes away. And there's more energy. There is energy here, but I'm saving it for healing. So from this point, I'm wondering whether I'm going to try and take this feeling and learning from this particular fast into moving forward with my physical life of just eating once a day and sticking to a fruit diet. So I haven't actually tried an all fruit, only fruit diet before. So I will give that a go. So I'll set a bit of a time frame. Maybe I'll start with 7 days. I have managed a 7-day water only fast. So I imagine doing 7 days of eating fruit should be quite easy. I'm hoping to go for 30 days of only fruit eating, just fruit. And and making a meal time and try fasting, so I'm maybe only eating once a day. It may not work out because who knows, I haven't tried the fruit. Maybe I need to eat more frequently. Yeah, you got to find your feet whenever something is new and experiment for yourself. So yeah, ideally I'd like to be able to eat once a day and it just be a fruit meal, but we'll see how that goes. And once again, I find I have more energy when I'm fasting, and it's like no food at all. So the logic in that is to just eat once a day. So at the end of the day, once I've done everything I need and want to do, and then I can eat. Just thinking how doing gym workouts, that doesn't work, because if you do a gym workout and you're trying to grow muscles, you need to eat very quickly after the workout, like within half an hour at most. So you would need to have something sweet to give the body its sugars so that it can grow. Because if you don't, it starts eating or taking what it needs from muscle. And if you're trying to grow muscle, that's exactly the opposite of what you want. So yeah, I'm starting to think of going back to having more of a yoga body and just, just regular exercise with body resistance stuff, and not worrying about, building all this extra muscle at the gym. It's like, why? That can be like an excessive strongness. Like, why? I just want my body to be functional and mobile and healthy, and to live long and happily. Happily is important too, because the more I've allowed junk foods to creep into my diet, I've directly noticed the decline in my thought processes and my emotional stability. I felt like an inertia, It's definitely food related, because I already feel that lifted off. It's weird. I've got my period. It's not weird. It makes sense once you've experienced it a few times. But I've got my period, and I'm fasting. So it's like two things that you would think are going to take energy and make you feel even worse, but it's the opposite. Like, allowing my body time off food is making my period so much easier. Like, I'm in no pain. But if I was to be moving around and trying to do things, there'd be a degree of pain. And so this rest is really good, and I kind of, I'm enjoying this, and I just want to remind myself. That's why I've made this little video of how important it is to keep fasting in my world at least once a week. I often say it, but generally it just is once a month, which I guess is better than nothing. But having my period forces this time on me, and the motivator really is to experience less pain. So, and I know through personal experience over the last few years, experimenting with fasting and raw foods and also junk foods, to notice how it affects my body, I know that fasting is the best way to minimize period pains, and that's what I found. And and also beyond a certain point, I really start to enjoy the fasting. Like, initially, probably that first I don't know, probably until about lunchtime of that first fast day is the hardest, and then it sort of gets easier. And particularly coming towards dinner time, like 4 in the afternoon, 6 o'clock gets super easy then, because like 6 o'clock would be my last meal. But once I've gotten to 6 o'clock and haven't eaten, it's easy, because it's like, well, I'm going to bed in a couple of hours, and that, before you know it, you've easily done a 24-hour fast. And of course, by the time you go to bed and you wake up, that's 36 hours. It's quite easy to achieve. So right now I'm on around 43 hours. I'm going for 48 hours, but I suspect it will be longer, because I reckon once I get to that 6 p.m. time tonight, I'll just keep going. I'll go to bed, and then it will be whatever that is. I haven't done the maths, but it's addictive, actually, the way you feel fasting. And also, I should say that I've had a headache for a lot of the time too, but I'd rather have a headache than excruciating period pains. Like, it's a no-brainer. And it's kind of just a dull ache as well. It's not hugely annoying. Well, that's my lowdown on fasting and for period pain relief, and absolutely minimizing it. And for me right now, no period pain. I'm day 2. This is when I would usually have the worst pains. So completely pain-free. and that's just so awesome. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like, and yes, subscribe as well, and stay tuned for the next one. And feel free to leave me comments. Have you tried fasting before for your period, and what have you experienced? I'd love to hear your story too. All right, bye for now.